Good morning. We're going to do these white sea roses this morning. So I sketched them out, and I'm going to begin with the shadow inside the flower. If you look inside each flower, there's a beautiful gray violet shadow, and I mixed that with cobalt blue and just a touch of rose. So I'm just going to establish those shadows first. Just let it run. It's fine. I'm dropping some Windsor blue inside. Just little drops. I love to see a variation of color in there. You want the vibration of color happening here and there. It's good. A lot of light bouncing around.
And this will put in.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to put some. I'm going to cover the whole paper now with a green, a lighter green, and be careful not to go too close to the flowers. Leave those edges on the flowers themselves. Dropping a little yellow in there, in the center where the flowers have that, and that yellow light is bouncing here and there. All right, now I'm going back in to the greens, and I'm going to go in with a darker green and really try to cut in the edges of my flowers, staying away from the edge so that I can leave them a little bit white. Paying attention to where the light is hitting the flowers. You really want to save that white where you can. I'm not worried about the leaves yet. Don't worry. There's a lot of yellow in the leaves, so you don't want to make that so bright that it takes all the attention away from the flower. So right now I'm just filling in the greens around the flower as shapes. I'm not even thinking about leaves yet. We'll get to that later, but right now I'm just filling in all the green around there and suggesting, the shape of leaves. All right, we're going in now with the darks. This is the ultramarine blue with quin sienna, and I put some rose in there. You don't want it to be stark black, so you want to make it a warmer black, and I did that by adding the rose. So I'm not really following the painting per se. I'm just establishing my dark shapes in there, and I want all soft edges here. I'm not looking to create the leaves, so I just want a variety of darks in there, and we'll fill that in. You can see I'm putting a splash of cadmium red right there, and let that, I want that to vibrate against those greens. Going back in and restating some of the shadow in the flowers themselves. I used Windsor blue there. Windsor blue dries very light, so you really have to put some color in there. The key here is soft edges. Flowers are very soft and delicate. You don't want to. There's very, very little hard edges to it. You can see some of the yellow bounced up there, and it's fine. Let it go. Just let it go. It's all, it's all reflective light bouncing here and there. I know, it looks like a mess right now, but we'll fill it up. All right, I'm going in with a towel to just push the edges, soften those edges up. It's all soaking wet, which I want. I want that. All that green area is still really wet. I sprayed it a little bit here and there so I can keep it nice and juicy and wet. Now I'm going in with those darks, but I'm going to soften the edges on them. I'm going to soften, letting them disperse into the greens. That's some Windsor green I'm adding, mixing it in with the blacks so you can see. You want to spread it out, spread it around, let that really disperse into the greens. I'm cutting in that back flower. You can see I added that. It wasn't in the paint in the photo, so I added a little white flower up in the right hand corner there just to have some balance in the painting and the composition. Alright, you can see I'm just mixing all these colors together, leaving some of that bright green, but not too much. Adding, a dark green, so I'm putting some light into those dark greens, letting them all merge together, and giving the suggestion of leaves. You really don't need leaves. You need, you can have a base of green, and if you just have, a couple of suggestions of leaves. All right, I'm going in with a small dark brush now, and just cutting in some little edges on the flowers. The edges are extremely important on flowers. Those of you that study flowers know that it's those little delicate, intricate little shapes on the edges that make it pop. Just restating some of that yellow. It's all faded in, so just want just on this one flower, I want to just touch it up a little bit up in here. Okay. Restating some of the shadows here on these on these flowers. Really want to get that color in there. It dries up so light. Soften the edges. I'm going in with a damp brush and just lifting out some paint into the shape of leaves, in a sense. There's no details here. Just a suggestion of a leaf popping here and there. That's all you need. And I'm doing it while the paint is wet so that it runs together and it gives us nice soft edges. And there's no detail. We don't want these leaves taking all the attention away from our flowers. It's really important to notice that, okay? Alright, I'm going in with just a touch of gouache on these edges that's catching the light where it ran over. A little of the color ran over it and darkened those edges, so I want to bring them back. Not a lot, very little white. And where you use it, you want to sort of diffuse the white into your color so that it's not real heavy. Gouache has a dull effect, so you don't want to, it's opaque. You don't want it to steal the show, but you want to bring back those edges that are really important, that are catching the light. Going back in with that blue again, it keeps drying so light. So place the dark and then come into it with clear water. So soften that edge, feather it out. It's all nice and wet, so I'm just dropping the color in there and letting it fade, and then I'll push it around. Just feathering it out, getting rid of those hard edges. Alright, that's pretty much it. We'll just let this dry. Okay. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. I love doing flowers. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope this helped, and I hope to see you again real soon. And please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much.